I think it's important to acknowledge, and the conversations have been had, but I think many people have pointed out that, it's not 1991. We've come a very long way. We're doing well, thanks to the leadership of many folks. I think Marty Markowitz is the best example of somebody who crosses the divisions of the community, someone who's beloved by all, and it's not just him. I worked very closely with the co-chair of the Brooklyn delegation, Darlene Mealy. She's really stood up as a strong leader in this borough, in this city, and the new elected leaders that we have. Lori Cumbo is someone who's been working on these issues for a while, and even one of our newest members, Chaim Deitch, is somebody who created a patrol in the African American communities in his neighborhood. And so I think there's a lot of work that's been done. I certainly don't think that we want to encourage panic. At the same time, I think that the most pressing issue, just from my perspective, just in my opinion, that I've been hearing from residents of Crown Heights, many of whom are my friends, is that there is a sense of fear. And I think that's, to me, the biggest concern, which is that parents are afraid to send their kids out. They're afraid to send them to school. They're afraid to put them out on the streets. And from my perspective, I think that's the thing that needs to be addressed most urgently, which is how do we give parents the confidence and the sense that obviously we know this is a very safe community. We know that the leadership of the community does work well together and has come well together. And I think it's important to try to give parents that confidence. And I think whether that means, quite frankly, to the NYPD posting an officer on every corner, or whether it means us as elected officials walking the streets to give that confidence as well, we need to bring that confidence back. And we know it's a safe neighborhood, and we know that the community is a community that works well together and has great relationships. And we have we have clergy like Reverend Norman who are out there, who are pushing and fighting and are preaching inclusion in the community. And I think we need to send that message, which is our streets are safe. And I think that's incumbent on all of us, especially the NYPD. And I hate to say this, but the best advice that I ever got from any elected official was actually when I first came into office. I had the privilege of meeting with the borough president, and he said, "David, let me just tell you," he says, "the people that you help will not remember, but the people you don't help will never forget." And I think that the reality is that all the efforts that we're doing are wonderful, and the police department is fantastic, but I'm just being blunt, you folks are going to be judged on your results. Right? If you can bring calm back to the community, you can bring the confidence back to the community, it's a success. And if not, it's not a fair world. If not, no matter how hard you work, if that doesn't achieve that level, then it's going to be a failure. And so we need to work with you. We need to get the message out there. We need to do what we do best, which is the outstanding leadership that we've seen in this community. But I think to me, what's shocking really about 2013 is that a parent would be afraid to send their kid to school on their own. I think that's something that we have to address immediately, and then we have to definitely continue the dialogue and the conversations, which quite frankly has already been happening. It just needs to be continued, and it's been done, I think, in a wonderful way. Thank you.
Team of administrators, we went into effect immediately. In our health curriculum, we've started a hate crime curriculum for our students, so all of our students in 61 will be trained, will be taught and having that dialogue about hate crime. That's the one thing we went into effect right away. Second, we have the police. They do come in the afternoon, the explorers, and they do sit down with our students and work with them. We partnership with a variety of local organizations for our students to learn more about hate crime, learn more about the community and who we live with in our community. So to represent my educators who are here today, hearing and learning about what's going on, we're in effect training our students, and as mentioned a few times, the dialogue is critical, having that sit-down conversation, but also making it a part of the curriculum so they understand and to learn and they taught and they're graded on what the effects are when they leave the school. So we're here to support you. Any ideas you have, we're working with the police department on a variety of events. They've been in our school to do assemblies in the afternoon. Also, we've taken our students out the building to visit many of our partners to learn more about their community instead of just having a one-way track of mind or whatever's taught to them.
However, I'm not hearing a lot of solutions, a lot of concrete solutions. And I would like to say certain things. One of the things I find we're very reactive. And as a community, we need to be proactive. We shouldn't be at this stage at this time. Now, my school, we have a zero tolerance in our school when it comes to violence. One of the things that we need is our parents on our side. What are the churches going to do to help our parents? What are the elected officials are going to do to help our parents and to educate them? Because, you know, we're here today, and I stand to be corrected, but we all are going to go on our separate ways and continue our business until something else happens again. And that's why this has to be something continuous, where we constantly meeting. I had a parent walk in my school this morning, and she came to destroy the uncircumcised Philistines in the building. You know, when are we going to talk to our parents? When are our children going to get some help in the afternoon? Because we have to challenge their behavior. So if they're being violent, let's do something positive for them. We don't have the money in the schools. When are the elected officials going to come to our school and say, we're going to help you with after-school program to help our children? We would like the police to be in our building, not to scare our kids. My kids was afraid of police officers, and most of my family are police officers, and I had to take matters in my own hands. So I started sending them to the police museum. We had all these trips. They all came back, they want to be police officers. Police officers need to come, they need to sit with us on an ongoing basis, and come into our schools and have dialogue with our kids. So I need concrete solutions, because we're doing, and I know my colleagues, we're doing what we need to do in a school, but the kids are there for a short time. We have assemblies, we see them out in the schoolyard, but there are more to be done for our kids. Our kids need after school things. Another thing that they need, I looked 2 summers ago, I looked at the children playing out there, and I was amazed. And these children are more alike than different. When are we going to get them together? When are we going to have like healthy competition among all these kids, and not seeing them as Jewish kids and African American kids, but seeing them as God's children? When are we going to do that? Those are some of the things that we need to do, and we need to do it on an ongoing basis, and not just being reactive when we have a problem, we come here, but schedule meetings. Let's have committees, and let's work with all the children in this community, and that's where we need to go.
I'd like to just thank you, Lanier, for calling this together, and the thing that we've been doing for the last 22 years since Crown Heights. We've done a lot of good things. I think everyone around this table, going back to the very first night, Clarence and I on the streets out there up until today, we've done things. When we had good things happening, when the bias unit did a program, we did it at Kingsbrook Hospital, where we brought the young people together. There was no incident. There was no bias. They just brought them together, just explained things to them. These are the things that we've been doing. Our young people right now, if you look at the videos of these incidents, if there's 7 young people out there, 5 of them are really good, strong young people, and the other 2, maybe one of them we can grab. 6 o'clock tonight at Jackie Robinson School, like the principal said, we open that building 2 nights a week. And we get everybody in there. All the colors are in there. Everybody's in that gym for those hours. And if we continue to do the things, get them up to the museum, we have to start celebrating our historical friendships around this table. We have many friendships that we don't even talk about. I got a call the other day, Bob called me from Jerusalem. He said, I got a call from Jerusalem. He said, what's happening in Crown Heights? I said, wow, it's gotten global now. Beyond the fact that we have always been talking and doing things together. So I think this afternoon we need to stop looking at it just from those 2 young people who might be in that video doing what they're saying they're doing. And let's look at those 5 really good, strong individuals of these educators around and say, look at the test, that they want to succeed, they don't want to be out there. Knockout is something that's going viral. Everywhere you go in the city now, you hear about it. Across the nation, we've done a study down the whole eastern seaboard that knockout is becoming more and more prevalent. So what we have to do here in Crown Heights, like we've always done, is we have to take the lead to make sure these young people understand that it's a violent act, this is assault, and if it goes beyond in Crown Heights or anywhere else, it could be in the hands of a bias. So this is the education process that I think we have so much more to do. This administration that's going to be coming in the next time around, I think we have to have them around the table. Crown Heights, we could be the example, we are the example to the rest of this great city and this great nation that we can get along as a people. So again, thank you all, and I'm committed to work with whoever around this table. I'm committed to work with them and do what has to happen. The chief and I stay on the cell phone night and day. We talk whenever something is happening. I'm hearing from them, and I'm giving my little opinion, but I'm quite sure there's some great minds around this table, and let's sit down with it. We have a great college up the street. Let's use that facility. Let's utilize, we got the great resources here in Crown Heights to bring these young people together. They're not all gangbangers out there. Trust me, I'm telling you, they are not. They're all really strong, good individuals, that all they need is a little bit of love and care, a little bit of nourishment. So again, thank you all.
I just want to tell you that we're not where we were in 1991. There's so many people to thank you. Firstly, the chief, because he's been really up front and center, and Hanina, thank you for putting this together. But I will tell you that we are being proactive at the museum. And thank you, Marty Markowitz, he's my borough president. That's put our museum together. The chief knows, I've been speaking to him regularly about this. We're putting together different public school children to come to the museum on a day where we'll call it celebrating our Heritage or Cultural Awareness Day. And I personally will spend the entire day with all those students, 100 at a time, from 3 different public schools, 3 different classes, ages 12 to 14 years old, which I thought is probably the critical age, and hoping, I actually want the kids to have about an hour where they can speak their mind about what they're thinking, what they're feeling, where they're coming from. So they can have a chance to say what they're thinking. And I think that I want to do this in an ongoing basis, but certainly to start right now. And I've reached out, actually, the chief knows this, the public schools, and the kids actually from the detention center. I don't want the kids that are A+ students. I want the kids who may have issues with us or with community or with parents or whatever you want to call it. So we are ready. We are very embedded in this issue, and we're hoping that together we'll all work together. It's just not about meetings. It's about doing things actually with Richard Green and all the rest of us.
The dialogue. However, I'm looking at it a little more focused. Uniform visibility, Rabbi, what you mentioned, is a very important thing, and that's one of my priorities, to increase the uniform coverage. Whether it's horses, yeah, we have horses out there, you're going to see horses out there. Whether it's scooters, whether it's vans, whether it's cops on post, whether it's moving from outside the precinct and outside the borough to increase the uniform visibility. We are doing that. We're utilizing the resources of the entire police department to increase the uniform visibility. Results are what we want. Arrests are what we want. And that's to be understood as a given. As a police department, we're in the business of protecting people, being visible, whether it's visible or invisible, through the use of undercovers or not. So we are doing what we can to, number one, increase the uniform visibility, and number two, actively, aggressively, assertively follow up on every single incident, and our result, our ideal result, is an arrest. And that's through a very intricate investigation where, the hate crimes team has been, all over this. So we're there. And I'm saying this not simply to assure you that we are out there, we are investigating, and we are pledging to do what we can as a police department. And that's at the same time, simultaneously, realizing the value of community support and involvement. The schools are big, and we are certainly at every single school, and we're trying to identify the corridors, and we're trying to be, again, visible. The educators are very important, but we are missing one factor here, the PTAs. The PTAs are closer to the families, closer to the students themselves. Correct me if I'm wrong, educators. We got to get them on board. But then that's that whole collaborative effort that is not one prong or 2 prong or 3 prong or even more than that. But again, my focus, my priority is doing what cops do. That's being seen and arresting people. And it's kind of like simplistic, And in a forum like this, I certainly don't want to get into the intricacies of the investigation, or I certainly don't want to show my cards as far as where we're going to put cops. But I guarantee you, many of you have told me you have seen them, and I certainly pledge to you that you will see them. So, that's my stand on this.
Thank you for calling this meeting, and I agree with you, Chief, as far as having to get the parents involved in this. First of all, I want to commend the 71st Street because as I left to come to this meeting, they were actually in my auditorium talking to my students. And as my colleague said, we're all doing things within our schools to foster relationships. We're right next door to Beth Vista, so we have a wonderful working relationship. My question goes back to what this gentleman over here said, is how are we going to message this to the parents that their children are safe? A lot of my students walk to school on their own, they walk home on their own. My son actually goes to Megan Evers High School around the corner, and he walks to my school in the afternoon. So as a parent, how are we going to message this to the parents that their children are going to be safe? And again, you said that the PTA should be here, and we can call these meetings together along with the police department. But again, how are we going to message that to the parents that their children are safe? That would be my question.
I think what has happened is that we have not been having dialogue, we have not been meeting, we have not been communicating. And when communication breaks down, of course, relationships break down. So one of the things that should come out of this meeting is that we should establish a mechanism for having ongoing dialogue between the various leaders of the community, and then take back the information and things that come out of the dialogue to our congregations, to our schools, and what have you. But just coming here today has been very, very beneficial.
But one thing I want to recommend to the NYPD, under Chief Banks, Community Affairs started this soccer league in Queens. And what it was is for the Muslim community. And it became very effective. It was also featured on 60 Minutes, how it brought the communities together. Maybe that's something that we want to do here with the community affairs, is maybe do our volleyball or basketball with the Jewish community, the African American community, the Caribbean community.
At Medgar Evers College Gym.
At Medgar Evers Gym. At Medgar Evers Gym. There's something that community affairs may look into, because I believe community policing is very important. Community engagement is very important. Crown Heights is phenomenal. It's phenomenal because it's diverse. It's phenomenal because we engage. A good community is a community that has diversity, that has community engagement, and that has awareness. What I've learned today is networking brings awareness. And what Council Member Darlene Milley said, this is not going to be a one-time, one-hit wonder. We're going to have to do this at least quarterly. So Hanina, get ready. We got work to do. Thank you, everybody, for coming.